imagine being the only firefly out there, just blinking your light. And nobody else answers. And it's like, how are you gonna mate? How are you gonna continue? How are you gonna like push things forward? You're gonna need to join with others, and you're gonna need to find your flock. And when you do, there seems to be some sort of opportunity to do that this summer, Aries, and I encourage you to take it, because that sense of interconnectedness is like a light in the dark that forms this incredible structure that cannot be broken. Let me just like go do this potentially really self-destructive thing and put myself in danger just because I need to like feel myself again, then like there's some deeper stuff going on that like seeking out experience after experience is not gonna fix. It's only gonna get worse and like become more and more of a train wreck is what I'm seeing. The deeper you follow that siren into the bottom of the ocean, you will hit the bottom. You will hit rock bottom, you know? But we could take this reading super lightly and say like, okay, you just need to like find your desire again, find your sense of like arousal and aliveness and creativity, in which case there's a very specific thing in your life that is sort of like, it was once the dream and now it's the nightmare. And like, if you face it, if you acknowledge it, you will feel free to follow your own desires, Siren, and rediscover yourself. When faced with this decision, yes, making the choice is stepping up into responsibility, but don't ask these guys within you what the right thing to do is. Ask these guys, you know, like ask these younger energies within you that want to move towards creativity and joy and like eternal joy. Because then you will, seems obvious, but then you will choose the thing that brings you eternal joy and approach it with care and responsibility and leadership. And that approach will help you say no to the things that are not bringing you joy and not bringing you a sense of eternal life and eternal liveliness and youthfulness and momentum. The things that you're sort of like hiding from yourself almost. It will liberate you and let you be a whole lot more free. If you can wait and not just grab for the quickest thing you see that actually ends up being like, ooh, I see a shiny thing and I dive for it and it's like a knife or like something stabby and pokey and then I get hurt. You know, because I allowed that sort of sense of urgency and impatience and discomfort to rule my actions. Instead, you're gonna be wiser than that. You're gonna be you're gonna go way out of yourself in order to get that higher perspective. And you're gonna like use patience as this balm to like, as like an antacid to just like quell the fires within. Wait it out, wait it out, wait it out. Because something is emerging that you don't want to miss. If you can wait for it. There also may be a shift here for you, Leo, of like a more external energy where you are like socializing with the bee and like working with others and doing all this sort of like outward stuff. And then there might be a shift for you this summer where now you start to pull it in and you start to get this like inward focus where you're like, okay, well, what do I want? What am I building? Like from the inside out, you know, those like silken threads from the spider come from their insides. It's wild. what are the threads that naturally come from my insides that I'm going to pull? Interesting that I'm pulling from the heart, Leo. Leo associated with the heart. What threads do I pull from my heart, and how will I weave them into something supportive for me? Your hyper focus and like the way that you are going like all in on something and thinking like it's this is the situation and this is what it is actually just creating more inflammation. And then like the opposite reaction to be like, if it was only more like that over there, like that will solve all my problems, I'll just leave this and go over there, is like avoidant actually, and is also inflaming the problem. And so the shift is in, I think, into like, first just like back up from that, in the intensity of that center point. Like you need to get some space, you need to back it up and cool off. Get into the energy of the night, get back into your insides, into your intuition, which requires you to shift into a slower gear, to shift into a slower, more of a listening space rather than a doing, aggressively doing space. Give yourself credit and understand that this like light, fun, social, wise being is just as like powerful as this kind of energy. Don't underestimate yourself, Libra, would be like the biggest advice I would give to all Libras everywhere, you know? Do not underestimate yourself. And like stop trying to be this sort of like level of perceived spirituality or growth or seriousness or like a maturity that everyone else is, so that you are taken very serious. I need to be respected and taken very seriously. And it's sort of like, actually, the more authentic you are, the more respect you gain. Step one, the goal to accomplish is strengthening your legs so that you can maintain a steady pace and a steady momentum, and it can carry you through. Step two, or the next goal that you'll be looking forward to, is then lightening the hell up. You know what I mean? Like getting really light, getting really just like fucking full of joy and creativity and like playfulness. And you'll be able to do that once your legs are stronger, once your hips are stronger, once your hips are more open, and they can be more open when your legs and feet can support you more and for longer periods at a steady, consistent pace. Then the hips will feel like, okay, I can open. And then the heart will respond. And then there's all this just like friggin' joy and levity and lightness of being. Oh, yes. Okay. To overcome that flight response that is hypervigilant, scared of everything, afraid that every decision you make is going to end in destruction, it's time to transform that, because it's based on this like deep father failure type energy, whether that's like in your life or something that you feel within yourself, like there's a sense of fear of failure or something, like a profound disappointment that you have a hard time overcoming, and it's at the root of why you feel so insecure in life. Maybe it's abandonment, maybe again like father failure is the thing, that father disappointment keeps coming through. And you're afraid to kind of repeat that in your own life. And it's like, okay, then it's time to start relying on yourself. It's time to start cultivating a sense of fight in this world, something to stand for, something to fight for, a strong sense of resolve that helps you follow through, that helps you not run away when things get hard, that helps you feel like you have the strength to stick with it. And not only that, but that helps you feel like you have the strength to trust your own intuitive knowing about which direction to go in. You are choosing to float on the surface, dangling your legs into the water, while the shark just keeps frickin' circling underneath. And you're choosing to live in that state in your relationships, and others can feel it too. It's not just like, well, that's my burden to bear. No, not when you're in relationships or environments, collaborations with others. Not when you're trying to reach other people with your creativity or whatever this is about for you. They're feeling this too. Trust. And so it is up to you to dive down, see this thing, acknowledge this thing, shine a full light on it, so that you can then resurface and say what needs to be said. Bring it fully out into the open, because trust me, even if it feels like scary to have a difficult emotional conversation because the other person might have feelings around it or might whatever, it is going to beautifully strengthen your relationships on the other side. And it takes it and it creates something beautiful and something rare and something original. Something only you can create, Aquarius. This seems really, really clear, really, really important. And then it's like something happens, like lightning cracking the tree, to crack open your shell, to reveal what's inside. And this revelation just moves you forward, takes you out of whatever limbo space you've been in. It may be hard to let yourself be seen in this way, Aquarius, but it will bring you so much joy and lightness and healing. There's just something you are seeing in a completely different way. And it's almost like you're transcending what you know about it, or transcending your perspective on it. Like you're both really enwrapped in the details, but then suddenly you get this extrasensory perception. You get this like huge zoom out, and suddenly, oh my gosh, I'm just realizing, look at that. The hawk is on the Gnosis card. Holy shit. It's like suddenly your perspective shifts and you see everything. Like maybe suddenly all at once and for the first time. And this is a much needed perspective shift that's gonna help you zoom back into the details with much more like vision for the overall, clarity for the overall vision.